To go in 2025. Welcome to Australia and Albert Park in Melbourne. The stars of tomorrow are about to venture out for the very first time around this magnificent circuit. 23 laps ahead of us for the sprint race, 33 for the feature. It's a 5.28 kilometre circuit as well, and elevation change at 2.45 metres, 4 DRS zones and 14 turns. Melbourne is a great place for the race. And the atmosphere is certainly building as we prepare. Alongside me in the commentary box this season is Omi. Richie's here as well. In a few moments, he's here in voice at the moment. And we are gearing up for the start with the green light in a few moments. Omi, 2025, year 2 of these cars. Fingers crossed, we're in for a great season.
Fingers crossed indeed, after what was set to be an almighty season last time out. We look for and hope for more of the same with Leonardo Fornaroli, reigning Formula 3 champion, made the move at the last corner to get that championship. He's also with us as well, racing for the reigning champions down at Invicta. It's an incredible season in prospect. Cannot wait for it to get underway. And for the first time in championship history, we do it, of course, at Australia. We start the season here down under.
Down under indeed. And a few new names that have made their way up permanently now from Formula 3 to Formula 2. It's going to be quite an interesting year as well to get used to it. Still 22 drivers, though, ahead. And they had pre-season testing. Not too much went wrong, but once again the reliability issues of these new cars' engines with the Mechachromes are under question, and as such some of the teams as well running with additional sensors and removing standard parts have already come in to this weekend with penalties. Somewhat of 60 have already been given out. We'll be getting that into our session shortly, but Omi, just talk to us. Pre-season testing went really, really well. The driver is fully prepared now after 3 days in Barcelona.
Yeah, fully prepared. One of the negatives were, though, there were still reliability issues, and quite a lot of them in comparison to Formula 3, especially, I think we could gather, which you'd expect Formula 3 to have more, considering that's a new car, but no, it was still Formula 2 with lots, and I think there was like about 8 red flags or something in the test, so it was absolutely ridiculous with that. We had wet weather, we had wet running, it was all chaos for Formula 2 testing, but now we arrive in Albert Park. 45 minutes of practice, and then they're straight into the 30 minutes of qualifying, which of course then sets the grid for both races in the weekend, with the reverse grid kicking in for the sprint race that will take place tomorrow in between FP3 and qualifying.
And the green light goes on, and the first session of the year is underway here in Albert Park, Melbourne. And a great place for the race is what this place is described as. Formula 2 have been coming here now since 2023, and it's been quite an entertaining run around on this circuit as well. Since it was announced, everyone was like, really? Why do we have to bring them here? It's going to be a very long rank, it's going to be a long season, and I think it just makes it better to have F2 and F3 here. Getting ready for their graphics to load in, of course, and the fans taking all the photos and the cars venture out. And fingers crossed, though, I mean, we saw last year, they've changed the rule again. Last year, the first 15 minutes was for track acclimatization. Now, it's back to normal, so complete free-for-all.
Yes, absolutely. So we're on to the circuit then as we get this new season underway. The sun fully out with these cars heading out onto the circuit. And it's always great, these first few minutes of Formula 2 getting underway with their practice session, seeing the stars of tomorrow heading onto the circuit, and these drivers will all believe they've got a huge opportunity this year after seeing so many promotions last year as well. One of them is, of course, Arvid Lindblad, so keep an eye on him this year. He could be the driver who is next set to head to Formula 1. Red Bull are actually trying to get him a super license. He's 17, but of course we had the exception made last year for Antonelli. So they're going to try to do the same for Lindblad, so he can be their reserve driver, but he's really getting ready to come in next season. So if this season goes to plan, or even if it doesn't, as we know F2 seasons can be a bit of a mess sometimes for certain drivers, even if it doesn't go to plan, he's already got the super license points, so that's going to be great for him. Let's get an interview with Bruno Mitchell.
Long-term process that we started with Aramco in 2023 and that we're continuing to do. In 2023 we had a 55% advanced product according to the F1 standards. Now we're 100% this year. It's extremely important that we continue this development. It's extremely important that we do a lot of work between our engine manufacturer and on the track as well, to make sure that we will be completely reliable with this new fuel, and also that we will not have any drop in performance. And I would say we're in continuation, because this is going to be one step, and there will be more steps in the preparation, in the development that we're doing with Aramco. But we are very, very happy to be 100% sustainable this year, and I can only thank Aramco for the job they've been doing to come up with this fuel and to help us to do all the development with our engine.
Yeah, now sustainable fuels as virtual safety car comes out for the standard test that we're going to have, so not too bad to rejoin. I am, however, going to hopefully turn off camera 1, click on to, as we go back to green flag conditions, the 2-cam setup, and press 2-cam and show the footage, which is not the best news in the world. So I'll go battle screen again. I'll welcome in Richie. Hello, Richie. How you doing?
Hello, Josh. I'm doing well, thank you. I mean, I'd rather you not get yourself demonetised and a YouTube strike, if that means putting my face
there you go, got
on
it.
the screen. Because that
The
could
wrong
have
one was
certainly
selected.
not ended well. But no, it's great to be here for Formula 2. Yet again, a brand new season is underway. And I mean, the grid itself, I don't think is as strong as we've seen in the past couple of years. But either way, I think it's still going to be very competitive. And I can't wait for it to get underway.
Good thing here, actually, I mean, is that now we see 22 on the screen. That's what it's coming out next year for Formula 1. So it's all in there. Joshua Dirt's at the moment on top. We're on board, though, with Sebastian Montoya, somebody who's very high up to be a champion this year, like his father, Juan Montoya, was in karts as well back in the time. So what do you reckon coming in? Who's hot, who's not?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got lots of drivers in contention this year. Martins will be looking for a step forward. Perfect timing as we ride on board with the French driver who's just come fresh off race of champions, also taking the Nations Cup. We also have to say congratulations to him as well for doing that 1 week ago. But Bogdanovic is one to keep an eye on after what he managed with Dams last year. I think Miata, a really talented driver, Super GT, Super Formula champion, all in 1 year. He's basically won in everything that he's competed in, bar Formula 2, so he'll look to change that coming into this year. Vashor's just that consistent driver who'll grab a couple of wins this season as per usual. Miney and Crawford could be a little bit interesting at Dams, I think. A experienced lineup, and a lineup that balances experience and pace, which is always quite good as well. But yes, Fornaroli, I think, is one to watch. Marty will be looking for a comeback. Browning, I think, is in there as well. But it's Mini and Lindblad who are being predicted the most as title contenders, with Alex Jakes going for Gabriele Mini as well for his championship pick. So loads of people predicting between Mini and also Arvid Lindblad. So interesting to see between those two drivers who's going to take it. But loads of talented drivers in this field, and I think also another driver to keep an eye on is Crawford. There's quite a few drivers to keep an eye on this year.
There really is, Richie, isn't there? There's so many, as you say, that have made the step up from Formula 3 to Formula 2. A little bit of plank smoke there. That's nothing to worry about this early on in the session. But it really is a concern, isn't it, about Formula 3 getting a step up to Formula 2, but quite a lot of the old guard still hanging around as well. You call them old guard, brand new guard, but what do you think?
It's interesting. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of people in here that have been, here for many years, and of course, kind of solidifying themselves a spot in Formula 2, which I don't think is correct. I mean, I do love Rick for sure, believe wrong, but I think there's a certain point where there's no point in being in Formula 2. It's blocking someone else moving forward. I think there should be some sort of limit, in my opinion, on how many years you can do in Formula 2. But no, of course, it's great to see so many drivers, young drivers, working their way up now into this, second formula. Of course, the Stars of Tomorrow, as they're, most commonly referred to. It's great to see all these drivers coming up. I mean, looking into it, I think Lindblad will win the championship personally, but the driver I'm actually excited to see perform is Sebastian Montoya. I'm really interested to see what he could do, because I think last season in Formula 3 he suffered from a lot of unluckiness, and I think this season possibly could be, well, not his to take, but I think he'll do a surprisingly good job for Prema.
That's an interesting take to make on that front as well. I'll defer to you, Omi. Is that a safe bet to go with, or is it a dangerous bet to make this early on?
Well, Lindblad, absolutely. I think if you're saying Lindblad Mini, absolutely perfect. I think with what Mini showed as well coming in, if Prema can get it right, then he's got a great opportunity. With Sebastian Montoya, he's a driver who does have pace, absolutely. He's got very unlucky over the last 2 years. I think what he'll be looking for, mainly, is going to be what Kushmani had when he came into Formula 2. It didn't really click as much in Formula 3, but once he got to F2, the car, everything just worked for him. Of course, Montoya and Prema worked very well in Italian F4, so they know how to work together. So they'll be looking for a bit of a click moment, rather than form wouldn't really suggest that Montoya is going to do well, but I think he's got a great opportunity with the support he's going to be getting, and also with the team that he is with at Prema. He just needs to make it click with himself and the car, as Jack Crawford currently makes his way through in the Dams Lucas Oil car as well.
And brilliant segue into our big story that's kicked into Formula 2 as we've started here in Melbourne. 60 place grid penalties have been applied. Jack Crawford, Alex Doon, Sami Megatuniv, Kush Miney, Emil Kuldeal, Max Esterson all received 10 place grid penalties for both the sprint and the feature races due to technical infringements during testing. The teams also fined €10,000 for a breach of the sporting regulations as well. Now, Omi, talk us through this, because it was a modification to a standardised part, which is the reason this has come about.
Yes, absolutely. They're also looking at reducing their in-season test mileage that they will get, as GB3 runner-up from last year, John Bennett, making his way to China, but very nearly losing the car in the process as well. But yeah, they've also been fined, of course. They're also losing possibly a bit of in-season test. The FIA can't actually decide that. They are unable to decide that. But what they've done is suggested to Formula 2 themselves, right, don't let them do all of the testing, as they, it's believed by the FIA that they could have gained a unfair advantage as well, with the airflow coming in underneath the car. So yeah, the chaos has already kicked off. You've got 6 drivers, 3 teams, all with 10 place grid penalties. And I know we don't really say this much, but I do feel bad for Cordial, considering he wasn't part of testing at all, and he's just going to be and he's going to have to suffer now with 2 10 place grid penalties when he didn't gain any data, when he wasn't a part of the pre-season testing at all. He's just come in very, very late, which I think also does move us on to our next story, which is Christian Mansell, JB.
Yeah, Mansell has
Martins
running wide, and that was the corner I was telling you about, turn 12. It's literally just it's easy to flick the car off there. We've seen it happen so often in the supercars, and Doon and Montoya have been noted for impeding already out there as well. But red flag's out, red flag. So, that's why into the barrier at that exact point. It is, and gravel all over the circuit. Well, it's Alexander Duno stopped at turn 12. I wonder if he's done exactly the same thing as Victor Martins there.
Yeah, could have been. It is a difficult corner though, isn't it? You know, that corner there, that right hand of turn 11. It is a difficult one to get right, and of course, for Alex Dunn, it's not good because he's one of the new runners in the championship. He's got a lot of, you know, support, especially from, you know, his Irish background, a lot of Irish support this season, and it started off with a car. It looks like he's gone into the barriers and came back out. This is a replay here of what's happened. This is Martin, isn't it?
First of all.
Martin's drifting off.
Has that kind of blocked the view for Dunn, possibly, with all the gravel and the
Oh,
dust
he
in
went
the
off.
air?
Oh, he just did exactly the same thing. And noses into the barrier, and it rotates around 360.
But no, what I was quickly saying was, of course, with the support he gets, this is certainly going to give him a lack of confidence.
Yes.
Let's see if we can see another view of this. No, we're going to see Martin instead. There we go. We see it after it happens. So literally, we saw, oh, Martins, can I copy you and maybe not hit the barriers? No.
Wonder if he's gone off on the gravel that was already there.
Could have been, possibly.
Yeah.
Losing could have lost a bit of grip. And
Ooh,
that
hand.
gravel, it's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's done his hand in as well. So red flag out. Our timing tower for F2 is all over the shop. I don't know what's happened here. Need to fix that. So, Omi, you might want to take your headset off, unless you want to do some talking about the penalties coming in.
Well, yeah, I think we definitely can talk a little bit
Go on,
about some of the penalties coming in. And actually, I think we discussed it about the penalties, but actually I'm going to move on to Christian Mansell, because I know, Richie, you've also been following a lot of that as well. But he stepped away from racing due to personal reasons as well. While we don't know the exact reason, we do wish him the best of luck, and we do wish as well that he is back coming in and racing very soon, because he was a very talented driver, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely he was, and it is a shame, isn't it, to see him gone. I mean, I don't know why, and I'm not going to speculate, because I don't think that's fair to, but, you know, of course, I do wish himself and his family the best. Of course, it is obviously something personal, something within his family, so, yeah, so I hope that everything is okay in the Mansell household.
Yeah, it's not the most easiest as well, considering he was all excited. I heard a few reports from Spain. I heard a few reports from Spain in testing, where he was mentioning how he was so excited and how he was getting ready, because of course this was his home race as well. He'd been looking forward to this ever since the news came out, and it was all of a sudden it was announced that he would not be continuing on, which meant that Cordial has come back for a fourth season. Richard Rashaw, by the way, this year will break the record for the most starts in Formula 2, as well as he's in his fifth season, as well as he continues with MP Motorsport. I think he will be very interesting to see whether he'll continue on in 2026, but he joined in 2021. He's been here all the way through, but Fornaroli I think is also going to be quite interesting. Formula 3 champ from last year. And also one interesting thing, I think it's a perfect time to mention it. Yeah, we did see Gabriel Bortoletto drive for Trident, go to Invicta, and then of course we've also now seen that from Fornaroli. Drive for Trident, go to Invicta, and Bortoletto was a champion. With that, let's see whether Fornaroli can complete that by being a champion here as well when it comes to the second tier. And yeah, interesting stuff. I think Trident have been a good powerhouse lately in Formula 3, and Invicta now becoming it a bit more in Formula 2.
Indeed, yeah, they have been really strong, haven't they? Or at least getting there, I believe, past couple of years. So very excited to see what Fornaroli can do. I mean, I don't think he'll be fighting for the championship this season, but I think he'll definitely be fighting for podiums and race wins on occasion. And you know, maybe next year he's going to have that experience to go and fight for that championship. I mean, I expect that the likes of Gabriel Mini, I don't think we'll see him next season. I think once he's done his job here in Formula 2, whether that's to win the championship or not, he'll be off somewhere else. You know, he's kind of shown he's done a very good job, and he's definitely worthy of this Formula 2 seat. So once you start to see a few of those big names go out, Dino Boganovic, Mini, you know, possibly even Lindblad as well, that's going to make way for the likes of Fornaroli next season to put that charge up, because they'll be the next experienced driver of the series.
I fixed our graphic.
Woohoo!
Well
It's all over the place for F2. So there we go.
It is. I think they're just preparing you for what you'll need to do this time next year for Formula 1.
Oh, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me.
But they have 22. Also, Stanek returns as well after he missed the last few rounds of Formula 2 last year. Not happy with Trident at all. Vishal left Trident as well last season. Trident had an absolute nightmare. They've got rookies now this year with Estes and Mega Tunif coming into play, and Trident had a horrid pre-season testing. There was loads of teams with horrid pre-season testings as well. Dams were one of them as well. I think it is worth mentioning. Crawford mentioned himself, not where they wanted to be, but their lineup looking very well. But Stanek, winner around the circuit 1 year ago. Do we think that he'll also be able to fight for wins this year when he in his return? He was up there in Formula 3, but when he came in Formula 2 in 2023, it really just seemed like he was near the back. Do you think that was more of a Trident thing?
I don't think he will, to be fair. I think he's not really made for Formula 2 personally. Not his type of car.
It can be drivers, yeah, sometimes it can depend on the cars, doesn't it, for certain drivers. Let's hear from Formula 1.
Racing here in Melbourne, it's an amazing feeling. I think, I hope it will be great, have positive feelings. Also, showing what we did in Barcelona. Yeah, I will just concentrate on myself and do the best and hope to have great results.
Somewhere between all the there was a sentence. So they're coming in there. These drivers need media training. 10 nights involving Dune and Montoya review. No further investigation on impeding. Very good to know that then. As the brooms come out, big clean up here with the gravel. As, they'll have to change it all over and get it going again. Let's take another look. We've got an angle for it. So this is Martin's running wide. No, this is Sami Megatunev.
Oh, he nearly lost the car. Very nearly lost the car to the other side of the wall. And now we watch Victor Martins.
Everyone's having that problem through turn 12. It's exactly the same as what... here's another angle, yeah. It's exactly what we saw in the supercars yesterday. In the practice and qualifying session. So many cars going wide here. At the same part. And worried about his hand.
Seeing so many errors being made as well around that part of the circuit. There's loads of these drivers for the first time try wrestle this car around this circuit. Only 26 minutes to go. We're losing lots of time. And if you're a rookie, it's not what you want at all, considering this is the only 45 minutes you get around such a challenging circuit as well. That is the Albert Park Street circuit. So they're really losing time right now. Dins, of course, found himself really in trouble before qualifying, but he's kind of ruining it for everyone else in terms of gathering data. And that's not what teams who lost a lot of time in preseason testing and teams that had a dreadful preseason testing, that's not what they want at all. I think this qualifying is just going to be quite chaotic, I think, with a randomized grid, I think we're getting later on.
You've taken the words right out of my mouth there in terms of how chaotic it's going to be. Because we just adjust the screen.
So, I think we expect that level of craziness and at sometimes stupidness, considering we already got so many grid penalties before we even got practice underway for the opening race of the season. So I think that's always quite interesting.
They should be quick. There's a pen here. They should be quicker than this. They really should be quicker. This is, it's a level almost of embarrassment that they are not this quick between it.
2 minutes.
There we go. So 23 minutes of running only. Whew.
Yes, not much at all, is it? Not much at all.
Unless if someone bins it again, which is also a possibility. I think we've had a lot of that. Great to see some of the fans as well out there, nice and early. They get a mega weekend. Definitely a place that I think we all want to go to at some point.
Oh yeah.
The weekend at Australia, just absolutely brilliant.
The late great Ron Walker described it brilliantly when he stole the race away from Adelaide. A great place for the race. That's the slogan here for Australia. Back in 1995, the pitch was made, even earlier actually, 1994, the pitch was made and it won it. Albert Park then started in 1996.
Yeah.
It's been on the calendar though, before that, 1950s, it was here twice, 55 and 56. We've had races here. We ran the opposite way around the lake back then.
I would have loved to go this year, of course, with the Race of Champions as well, 1 week before. So just go there for 2 weeks, get the Race of Champions as well, get to watch all of that and all of that action, and then enjoy all of this here in Melbourne. It's kind of worked nicely, of course, with it being held in Australia this year. It meant that people could go over and then come here.
It's worked out up Sydney to Albert Park here in Melbourne. Of course, the big thing is that Adelaide wanted to have a race back, but they've moved their supercars to the end of the season. So instead, just after the Race of Champions, there was the fantastic, I've got to say, Adelaide Motor Show, Adelaide Live. It's built up really nicely. Green flag is back out, drivers heading out onto the circuit. And despite years of asking, by the way, as Stoffel Van Dortmund's on pit wall there.
I have some information, guys. So
Go for it.
Red Bull have requested for Arvid Lindblad to be granted a super license exemption like Antonelli, as he's only 17, to be able to serve as a reserve driver for the team.
Yeah, I think I mentioned that when you were having food.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, there you are.
Great to get that out there
Hear it
again.
twice.
I've just remembered,
Yeah.
I haven't eaten. I've had half of spaghetti and pasta. I'm going to have that.
Disgraceful, Josh. You need to get some food in your system. You've got an hour break, though, after this. So,
I do,
Well,
yes.
about an hour and a half, isn't it, nearly?
If it helps, I've had a very up and down day mentally as well.
Oh, one of those days.
One of those days. Woke up. Well, I went to bed quite late because I was watching Supercars. Went to bed, woke up, watched the F1 show, did all the press conference stuff, and I started okay. And then slowly I started to get very, very depressed in my own head. So it wasn't great. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she said, yeah. So she rang, and I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I just don't know. I'm just a bit meh. It's one of those. It's meh. So popped into town, went round. Always lovely seeing Amy, though. And had a coffee, and then felt okay. And came home, and
There is coffee the trick.
coffee did the trick.
Hey, I mean, I don't
And now
know.
you've got a bit of racing to enjoy.
Yeah.
Cars going around the circuit, so it's all nice now.
And I'm going to be safe.
Well, to be honest, I think on the last 2 years, racing in F3 is quite different. You know, we even changed compound between the first and the second year. That degradation was really a big thing, which I don't think will be the same case, let's say, in Formula 2. So I think it will be a bit a new experience. We will have to see how the weekend evolves. For sure it will be tricky also because of the weather, but that's the same for everyone. So really can't say much, to be honest, about F2 yet. So yeah, we'll just wait and see.
Gabriel Mini there as well talking to. To be fair, though, I also think the talking and having company helped a lot as well. Amy is a wonderful therapist. She really is, and also the coffee helped. But Amy was actually sat on the side of the commentary box at F1 Live when me, JT, and Ed were on air, and that was a basic event, and she couldn't understand how we did it. I said to her, you're gonna have to come into the commentary box during one of these races and stick a pair of headphones on and just listen to how everything goes. You'll go nuts. And she said, no. She has enough of that dealing with 30 kids every day at work. So yeah, not great.
You're not a racing fan, man.
Is she what? Well, here's the thing. She's a car fan. Fast cars. She loves fast cars. Yeah. She's a car fan. And I think if there was a race on, she'd watch it. But yeah, she's a car fan. Oh, lock up for Maney. Down at 10. Yellow flag has come out onto the circuit. Where is this now, everybody? Oh! And off the track, Ollie Goethe. And a load of gravel, which is in a fast part of the track, coming the exit of turn 10 near DRS Activation Zone 2. Wouldn't be surprised if this brings out yet another red flag.
I mean, there's a lot of gravel, and has he got an issue possibly as well?
As
Very
he's
slow.
going to anti-stall. He's stuck in first
Looks like
gear.
over, doesn't it?
Oh, if this Mechachrome, Omi, we know too well that this car, it can't spin and keep going. No. He stopped. This will be a red flag again, folks.
Same place as well as where we had the stoppage earlier. But let's ride on board. We're heading towards turn 9. Let's see what happens with Ollie Goethe.
Just take too much of the inside curb and the rear's going to step out. No?
The
Yes.
inside curb.
Ooh, how close is he to sciencing it? Red flag's out.
Very.
And Richie, I mean, can you hear? As soon as he did it through the gravel,
Yeah.
it went.
No power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a negative camber curb now. They're not supposed to be spitting them off like this.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that is going to be a horrible corner in the race, not just in Formula 2, but in Formula 3 and in Formula 1. It is a difficult corner. It is one of the I think is it the highest speed chicane on the calendar?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Got to be. You know, it's not easy, and you can see there, of course. At that speed, your car's going to fly off, and you're lucky not to go into the gravel. If you're not experienced, and it might be one of your first times at this circuit, you're going to be in the wall there. But luckily, Goethe knows, you know, get it in and then just kind of flick the wheel once and just let it rotate over to the right-hand side and back on track.
Well, my spotting's going well this year. I already managed to get Dylan Goethe right. Okay, haven't bottled it yet.
Well, this is going well. 2 red flags in the space of 5 minutes, and a total of 8 cars have set any form of representative lap time out there on the circuit.
We're still ticking down. It's really going well. Considering, as I've already mentioned earlier, but I'm going to mention it again, with how many teams did not get what they wanted in testing.
Yeah.
Due to all of the rain and all of the disruptive and 8 red flags in testing in one day, all of that ridiculous stuff that was going on. To say that we're continuing now and teams still can't get data on what is a hard circuit with 45 minutes anyway, yeah, I'm going to say it again, we're going to get a randomized grid later on. A grid that won't tell us much about the season, really, at all. We're just going to go into it and have 2 amazing races with possibly even raining on Sunday as well. It's just going to be ridiculous this weekend.
I'm seriously considering calling Jenny Gow and asking her, are you sure Australia's the best place to start a season? Didn't this happen last year with Formula 2? In practice, do you remember? It was just red flag after red flag after red flag, and we were waiting time and time again.
Didn't that also happen in Formula 3 as well?
Yeah, I think it did.
We were annoyed in F3 because nothing worked. Nothing working in Formula 3 practice Bahrain. So we were like, okay, there's not been any energy. No one went out for like, I think 30 minutes or something, because they had preseason testing at Bahrain.
Yeah.
Which meant, and it wasn't disruptive at all, the F3 test. No one went out for the first 30 minutes, and we were just like standing here like, go on the circuit. No one wanted to go out. It was quite the opposite of this, just no one wanted to go out. It was something that we hadn't usually seen, but yeah, the testing data meant no one really cared about the 45 minutes. They only ran out near the end. So that was, yeah, I'd say that was where Josh was getting very mad as well. Mini Stanek noted for impeding.
I was losing my mind last year. I mean, last year we did have that stupid rule in F3 and F2, though, that the first 15 minutes was only for track acclimatization, so you couldn't actually do any long runs. You could only go around and work out where the circuit was. And it was designed to sort of say, well, we're extending it from a 30 to a 45-minute session, so you can go out there, you can make sure it's all okay, and then in the last 30 minutes you can do whatever you like, treat it as a qualifying. They've removed that this year. The problem is we haven't had as much running. I think we're going to resume with about 10 to go, you know. And knowing our luck, we'll probably get another red flag.
Just the F way, just the F2 way to do it.
There's obviously similarities to F3, but also some differences. I think, yes, like F3, there's not much drive time, so you still have to be on it in FP, and then on top of that, you have a compound change for quali. So yeah, that'll be something new. Obviously, got a bit of experience of that in the testing. But yeah, it's a new challenge. It's exciting, and yeah, looking forward to it. For sure, it'll be an extra spanner in the works and an extra challenge. But that's what makes it fun and exciting.
It is indeed what makes it exciting. Marshall's out there then cleaning everything up and make sure we're going to be A-OK to get going. Yes, mine and Megan's hands, if you watched our build-up show, turns out we're allergic to paprika, both of us. So
What?
Well, me and Megan are allergic to paprika, apparently.
Oh. So does that mean you're also allergic to peppers? Because I know paprika's made out of bell peppers.
Bell peppers and ginger. So Megan's allergic to bell peppers, I'm allergic to ginger. So I think that's just sort of triggered it up. If you'll allow me, I need to go and pop my hands under some cold water because they're burning a little bit. So I'm going to hand over to Amy.
Thank you very much. Hopefully you go and enjoy yourself. Not much happening on the circuit in terms of movement of Goethe's car. Kushmani currently in second. Victor Martin's in first. That all still needs to change, if it will change, if we can actually get going. But how do you think Kushmani will do then? Third season for him, third season for Crawford. Where do you think he'll stack up against the rest of the field?
I mean, I expect him to do well. I mean, I think he'll get a couple of wins this season, but I don't know. He just seems like he's one of those that when he's having an off day, he's really off, and there's nothing he can do to kind of, you know, get back into that rhythm. And I think that's his issue. You know, he either has a really good weekend, or, for example, to say he starts racing, I don't know, 10th or 11th. Then he's done for the weekend. He does nothing. He just goes backwards. And I think he also gets a bit hot-headed. He gets a little bit interesting with his racecraft as well on some occasions, and I think that's his biggest issue. But apart from that, I think he's got, you know, good chances of easily getting a win or two this season. Definitely.
Yeah, last season was quite annoying in terms of he was great for the first 3 rounds, and then he had a crash, which it was reported that the car got broken, and it just wouldn't get repaired in the same way, which cost him a lot of rounds, and that can possibly cost him momentum. But here's the thing, it was so annoying that there were so many drivers, so many talented drivers. I think even if you look at someone like Barnard, who just could not perform in this series just due to the car. And I think that's the most annoying thing, especially when it's a spec series, when it's supposed to be drivers proving themselves. Jay, we're just mentioning about Taylor Barnard, for example. And drivers who came into this series weren't able to perform just due to the car when it's a spec series.
It gives us great confidence. You know, we go into this year on the back of winning both the drivers and the team's championship from 2024. You know, when you have a great understanding of the new car. I think last year really our success was our consistency. You know, we scored points at every single round of the championship, other than the feature race here actually. So if we can continue that into next year, we're in a really good place. I think this year we've got a really great balance of youth and experience. You know, with Leo, we've got the returning Formula 3 champion for the 2nd year in a row. And with Roman, we've got a driver who's experienced, but still actually incredibly young, proven race winner, and someone who's very fast. So I think they complement each other really well.
They do indeed. As we're coming in.
Yeah, I was referencing about Taylor Barnard, for example. And just in this season, we already had this discussion quite a bit, but it's quite annoying that when it is a spec series, drivers come in here and can't prove themselves, and there's drivers who possibly might not have the same talent who are able to just shine as well. And I think that's giving F1 teams just a reason not to believe F2, and instead they're having to do more private tests as well, which that's why you had drivers like Antonelli, Behrman, and all of those selected, because they did actually well in the tests that they had with their team rather than based on their F2 performances.
Yeah, certainly. It's something you see more and more commonly, isn't it, now?
Yeah.
F2 is just not as representative of a driver's skill as it used to be in the past. But a bit of information about Formula 1. Rebel have bought 15 performance upgrades for their car since testing. So from, obviously, testing to now, they've bought 15 upgrades. And that is more than Ferrari, Merc, and McLaren combined. So,
isn't someone supposed to be at the touchpad, whatever we're calling it, maybe?
Yeah, Megan's at the touchpad this weekend.
Yes. Will she be getting all the resources to analyse that then?
Analyse which one? The Red Bull floor, yes.
Lovely.
And the side pods as well. And I think we've even got a brake disc at McLaren coming up.
Nice.
That's going to be in our qualifying build-up show.
Well, we mentioned how, we're going to resume this session with 10 minutes to go. Look what we're coming up to now. Another red flag, guys.
Problem is, we can't even extend the session like we usually can able to, because right after this, we've got to go, because we've got the Supercars race. So, we don't even get that. It's a jam-packed schedule.
Yeah, but the schedule, it's amazing that it's all back to back to back, meaning that you're not just finding yourself with dull hours in the night, but it does mean that, for example, for the F3 sprint especially, that usually has a lot of time after. It's followed straight by Formula 1 Practice 3, so it's all just very packed. And I think on Sky, I looked at the schedule, they just have it back to back to back. F3, then F1, then F2, then F1. It's just so packed here at Melbourne, which you don't get at other places for all of these main support series in F1.
And of course, we're the same. We literally, I think we've got an extended qualifying show just to get everything in. Because we've got the touchscreen to get into, we've got the Jenny Gow interview to get into, we've even got part 1 of Tom's Formula 1 75 grid walk coming up. Part 2 will air on Sunday as well.
I love the circuit, the people are amazing. And I'm in Formula 2, so yeah, the first time holding this microphone, obviously. I don't think I did anything for the final few, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think the weather's going to be difficult on Sunday. But the qualifying is always fantastic here, so I just missed out on pole last year in F3, and I want to come grab that again.
Luke Browning there talking to it. Yeah, so we've got a red flag's been removed from my timing monitor, so that might indicate we're going green shortly. But yeah, so we've got 3 features coming your way for qualifying on Saturday and 1 feature on the race on Sunday, and we're going to resume in 3 minutes' time. 5-minute session,
Hey.
wow. That's not going to tell us much.
Nope,
But
not at all.
yes, that's where we're going to be. And Sunday, of course, just the 1 feature, which will be Tom's 75 grid walk part 2, because we're only on air for an hour, so we've got a little segment in between. Then we'll go again because we've got the build-up for Sky from the Pit Lane Open for 40 minutes and our usual pre-show. So it's going to be a great weekend of racing, and it's great to get going. Fans are watching along and getting set. They are taking days off school, believe it or not, and the schools here in Melbourne actually allow it. They encourage, yeah, they encourage them to come. Last year we had a school send all of its students here to the race.
Oh.
I believe it's the same thing again this weekend. So I find it fantastic. There is, yeah, that's the band, yeah. But yeah, they literally allow them to come. But Australia is absolutely potty about Formula 1. They have such an atmosphere here. It is literally a motorsport festival. I love Australia. I love it so much.
I'm hoping to go one year. I'd love to. I mean, I don't like the country in the terms of all the animals and insects. Apart from that, I'd love to go to Australia.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd have in my mind when I want to go to this.
Spiders the size of, yeah.
Oh god,
palm.
I hate them. If one was to come in the commentary box, then I'd just start screaming. Probably if we were to
Like
do
if there was
something on
a
the ground.
snake curled up in the toilet or something. No.
Red Bull gazebos. That's not actually Red Bulls, that's just the fans that they put up, believe it or not. The Red Bulls features over at the other end of the paddock. Great place for a race. It's absolutely amazing.
We're about to get cars on the circuit though.
I think Josh has said that about 5 times. Great place for the race.
Yeah.
I love it. I love Melbourne. There's a
I remember last year he kept saying it as well.
I love it. It's Melbourne. Green light coming on. Melbourne is brilliant. Green light with 6 minutes to go in the session, and we are back underway here at Albert Park.
Again,
How much
finally.
First time since 2019 we've started the season here in Australia for Formula 1. We did try in 2020, but
Well,
yeah,
that was horrible.
didn't really work
We all
out.
know where that went.
Yes. Amazingly, I avoided it and got it in 2023. Go for it. That was bizarre.
Oh, did
I
you?
just didn't get it at all.
Lucky.
I had it in 2021, 2022, and 2024.
Yeah, I don't know how you managed that in 2024. I got it in 2023, Saudi Arabia weekend. Although,
I had it in November.
I swear I had it in December 2019. Do you remember when everybody was feeling really ill? I think that was COVID,
Yeah.
and I think I got it then.
Sure, could have been, surely.
Exactly the same symptoms.
Everyone got ill, didn't they? All over that, like... It was the week before Christmas and the
Yeah.
week after Christmas, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got it week before Christmas. I was floored.
Oof.
So, 5 minutes to go. There'll be enough time for 2 flying laps out here. Yeah, we're going to...
Brilliant.
Say again?
I said brilliant. Lots to gather from that.
We have a special half-an-hour build-up to Formula 1 session. And yes, we have a live analysis of the touchscreen before anybody says. See how that goes. So, yeah. So that, I believe, the touchscreen is not going to be... That touchscreen is going to be in the commentary box like it was last year. We do have a screen that is upstairs. That's going to be what's we're going to see later. But for
Oh, how do you do this touchscreen thing then?
we connect our iPad up to the computer, and the computer displays it up to the television. So we can control it and show analysis and data and videos and everything and track changes. It's going to be cool. So yeah, that first feature is coming up in practice 1.
Green says Mr. Michael Dukakis in the chat.
Oh, I
Green
love it.
indeed.
Green grass of home. Right, first lap time's coming on the board then, finally, out here, as we look at Joshua Durskin, who had a brand new engine midway through last year and shot up the grid. Is that a reflection of his talent? I'm not sure anymore, because it was the engine that suddenly he was nearly a title contender.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it, last season with Dirks? But I still think he's a good driver. But I
Yeah.
do think the engine was very overpowered.
Practically had the Starship Enterprise up his backside for half the season. Sam says, sneak the official video in the corner of the screen so we can kind of see him not big enough to get the copyright. Trust me, they find you anyway.
We wish we could. We wish we could,
Yeah,
Sam.
we wish.
It'd save me a subscription, that's for sure.
This is the real reason that Rich is in the commentary box.
Yeah, just to watch F2 and F3.
Oh, and a little bit wide there for Durskin. The exit of turn 11 into 12. Keeps it in nicely. And 13 and 14.
Oh, yellow flags.
Actually, oh god.
Who is it? Who's the unlucky?
Who's it this time?
Who's gone around this time?
It's got to be at turn 12 again, hasn't it? That's where everybody is on the circuit. I'll be surprised if it's somewhere else on the monitor.
Is it Miney? So know that he's gone for a 26-second middle sector.
Forlaroli, no, he's there. Jack Crawford, it could be. He's vanished in sector 2. So
no,
is
he's
Max
gonna put
Esterson
two.
there.
Oh.
Yep, it's at turn 12 as per normal.
Who's
Who
it?
is it? Oh, there's 2 off.
Oh, another one. Another one.
Well, how's that happen? That's in the same part of the track. There's multiple cars in there, isn't there?
Oh my, that's a big hit. The front wing has gone.
What? Hang on, that's at turn 10.
Yeah, the other car was at turn 12, wasn't it?
Yeah, so the 2 accident points in this session have now red flagged it. So another red flag for 2 crashes in the same place we just had. So
Oh my.
this is... Well, which one's gone off is the question
Number
to
4,
me.
Right.
I think. Limblad.
Yeah, Arvid
So,
Lindblad.
yeah, Limblad's off as well. Okay, so it's Limblad who went off.
Who's this? 16.
16. This
Oh,
is
what a
Cordeal.
surprise. Amory Cordeal.
Oh, is it? No,
No.
no, it is Cordeal.
No.
It is
No,
Cordeal,
it's
yes.
Cordeal.
It's Cordeal.
Oh.
Not Mayata, it's Cordeal. And he's stopped, and because, as we said earlier, the cars, they can't handle a spin. As soon as you spin, you destroy the
goodbye.
engine. Mechachrome, honestly, we wouldn't have had 2 of the red flags if it wasn't for Mechachrome. Can we just point out? If they could handle
know.
the spin. And the session...
Well,
would
F2
not-
just starting the way that it usually does. Just 2 incidents happening at once, unrelated.
Session will not be resumed, unsurprisingly. And no practice starts.
Oh, well, there we go. What a session that was. I enjoyed watching the cars race for about 2 seconds.
That
Well,
was a
right.
session that has told us absolutely nothing, and now it makes me very alarmed going into qualifying for the opening race of the year.
How many laps in qualifying will they get? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good point,
One?
actually. I reckon 1 flies. There's a fly off like this. So it's a great place for the race if it's not Formula 2.
Also, Josh,
Yes.
I've just been looking at the spreadsheet for this weekend. Do you actually get any sleep?
No.
So when's the
That's
next
why I
time
said
you're laying
sleep.
your when's the next time you're laying yourself into bed?
What time does F2 finish today?
F2 today. Oh, qualifying 7 a.m.
I finish 7:30 a.m. Go to bed. Wake up at 12. I
For
get
MotoGP.
yeah 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I get 5 hours sleep,
Oh my.
and then I'll think I'll nap after the MotoGP session before practice, and then I'll nap after practice before. I'm just catching sleep where I can. One thing I do know is because I've also got my brother and his partner coming tomorrow, I was looking at Lindblad flying into the wall. That was a big hit. We'll let the boys analyse that in a minute. Yeah, I am literally, I think, awake tomorrow from... I'm awake Friday, 11 p.m. until Sunday midnight.
Jeez.
Because there's no time to sleep. I might get a nap.
48 hours. No.
Yeah, 49.
48 hours.
49, yeah. I might get a nap in between, but I'm going to be D-E-A-D. If anybody wants me on Monday, I'm sorry, but...
It's not happening.
Tuesday as well, maybe.
And then also get ready for China on the next week.
China's going to be fun.
Well, that's a sprint race as well. Oh, poor you, Josh.
Yeah. And it's not made her better because then we also have IndyCar and NASCAR.
Oh, at least Tom will be here, though.
Yes.
Tom Cairns will be making an appearance.
Yeah.
Stanson will be with us
I
for
think
NASCAR.
worth mentioning.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think worth mentioning as well for Feeder Series fans, F1 Academy will be having a reverse grid as well this year.
Just to
which
make
will
Jess and Megan's life a
increase-
little bit harder.
Well, I'd say to give them more action as well, because I'll be honest, they did find themselves not getting treated to the racing they deserved.
Yeah.
With, I think you always just had someone dominating. Now we're going to get the exact same goal that you have in F2 and F3. Can you dominate from the front? That can be ticked for a lot of drivers. But how's your overtaking skill? How's your wheel-to-wheel combat? Now that will also be assessed in F1 Academy as well. So great to see they've added that, and it should just make the races a little bit more better as well.
Jess is still our lead commentator for that, alongside will be Megan, and Wes also joining, as well as Tom Carnes as well. So we're going to be in for a big F1 Academy. I get that one off, which is nice. Yes, and I think next weekend, this weekend, we've also got Jake Sanson joining us in the NASCAR commentary box.
Ooh.
And Lizzie Whitmore's joining us, hopefully, for MotoGP. She's in Devon this weekend visiting her grandparents. I think she was slightly impressed that I knew why she was in Devon, but I did speak to her grandparents when we were at Donington. I was like, yeah. So, here's your results then from the opening session of Formula 2, Omi.
Absolutely, Victor Martins ending it fastest with a late lap that came in right before we got to the red flag. Kushmani in second place for Dans, Dirksen in third ahead of Stanek, and then Crawford, Browning, Viganovic, Esterson, Montoya, and Richard Rashaw is your top 10 as he becomes, at the end of the season, the most experienced driver if he completes the season. Then you have Miata, Megatunif, Goethe, Mini, Cordial, Fornaroli, Lindblad, Shields, Marty, and Villa Gomez, who's in 20th position as he starts his second season of FIA Formula 2, hoping to contend for podiums as well, and well, just for points really in his case. And all the way right at the back, John Bennett and Alex Dunn, who caused the first red flag, which seems ages ago now with how this session has gone with so many red flags.
Closing thoughts then. Richie, first to you. What do you make of that session?
Nothing. Nothing at all. There's nothing to take from it.
With you on that one. What about you, Omi?
Nice to have had JB Motorsports podcast too.
Hey!
We'll be back for qualifying later on, but join us in an hour's time when it'll be go, go, go for the opening practice of the Formula 1 season. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.